Welcome back to Rise and Grind. Today we are talking about a topic that is one of my absolute favorites, and I am calling it going from Saddie to Baddie, where we are taking you today from a state of just kind of feeling like you're not yourself. Maybe you've lost your spark a little bit. Maybe you just feel sad. Maybe you're high key teetering on the edge of depression, or you've been in a full on depressive state. We are taking you from that to your absolute most empowered, most authentic, queen like self today. So grab a drink, get comfy. We are going to dive right in. I have touched on the topic of kind of getting out of a funk before and just not really feeling like yourself and how to come out of it. But today we are coming at this from a whole new level, not only because I myself am a totally evolved version of myself since the last time I've talked on this, but because I also have a whole different understanding of how things actually operate in your brain and how your mind can truly be your secret weapon here and your bestie when you are going from Saddie to Baddie. And I'm just going to be real with you and say, if you are feeling sad, if you are feeling blah or meh, or just you're kind of going through the motions, you're like scrolling through Instagram or any other social media platform, and you're just feeling very unpassionate, very like, yeah, like that's the best way I can describe it. You're just like, maybe nothing's actually wrong. Maybe something is, but like maybe nothing's actually wrong, but just things are not right. Things are not what they should be. You don't feel excited. You don't feel on fire. That's what today is all about. And if you have been feeling that way, I have a piece of knowledge for you that I think is going to be equal parts comforting and like a little bit of a kick in the ass. If you're feeling that way, you are not special. Okay? This is not like you are getting this horrible punishment from the universe or from God. Like, this is not a you problem. This happens to everyone at times, including me. And I'm about to share with you probably the worst funky season I have been in. And that is what has inspired this episode today, because I myself grabbed myself by my hair basically and dragged myself from Saddie to Baddie. But you are not this broken person where this is all you're meant to be. This is what you're destined for. Like, no, this is not the real you. Okay? Get up and let's change things. This is not where you're going to stay, and I am not allowing it. So let's get into exactly how you can go from Saddie to Baddie. And I want to start by just sharing with you, I was feeling like the saddest, lamest version of myself for probably, I would say maybe like 90 days. And it did coincide with my first trimester of pregnancy, which totally knocked me on my ass. I will just be fully transparent and say that. Totally knocked me on my ass. And honestly, it was beyond anything that I could have expected. Part of that I will take a little bit of accountability for and say I really did not have a lot of intentions going into the first trimester of my pregnancy. It was a very planned pregnancy. I wanted to be pregnant. I wanted to get pregnant, but I did not do my due diligence as someone who understands mindset, who understands the brain, and set enough intentions moving into the first trimester of pregnancy. However, in my defense, and in the defense of every woman who's been through the first trimester before, you know that first of all, the hormones are crazy. And second of all, when you feel like shit physically, it is a lot more difficult to feel like your best self. And a lot of it can be out of your control. Nausea, throwing up, even being emotional or exhausted, those things are naturally occurring in the first trimester of pregnancy and sometimes beyond. So although those things were valid for me, coming out of it was really hard. And that is what I want to talk about today. Even after I was feeling better physically, even after my nausea had gone away, when my second trimester had started, I was like, okay, why don't I feel better? Why do I not magically feel like the best version of me now that I don't want to gag 24/7 anymore? I'm back to eating normal food. The smell of coffee doesn't make me want to die anymore. What is wrong with me? And the reality of the situation was that I was stuck in this stagnant, low-serving energy as a result of my first trimester. And for anyone listening to this is valid regardless of the reasoning behind your Saddie season. It doesn't matter why you had that season. It doesn't matter what got you down. you are going to be in a place after a while where your brain is stuck in this low dopamine state, right? And dopamine is just that chemical in your brain that makes you feel like, damn, I did a good job. Like, it's like checking off your to-do list, like that feeling of being accomplished. When you have low dopamine levels and you are stuck in that state, what's usually occurring at the same time is elevated cortisol, which is the hormone that makes you feel stressed the fuck out and anxious. So what you have is this complete lack of feeling proud of yourself, this complete void of accomplishment coupled with cortisol and stress and anxiety. So you are stuck in this sort of habit, whether you mean to be or not, when you are in a Saddie season. And in order to come out of that, you have to do something differently in order to break the habit in your brain of being sad and stressed. And what happens a lot of the time is we rely on motivation. We feel like, okay, how can I get motivated to get out of this? I know I want to get out of this. Like you start to figure out after a while, like, okay, I really don't want to feel like this anymore, but I just have no motivation to do anything. I have like no will to show up. I have no desire to get myself ready. I don't have any desire to like do the things that I know I want to do. And we are relying on motivation in those times to get us out of that shit. And that is the absolute opposite of what's actually going to help you. Beyond the fact that motivation really is just not a reliable feeling because it is fleeting. On top of that, your subconscious mind is stuck in this state where you are not being your best self anyway. So you can't actually rely on motivation because motivation comes from your subconscious beliefs and the way that you see yourself. Well, right now, your subconscious beliefs are like, I'm a piece of shit because I'm not doing anything. I don't know why I can't get out of my own way. I'm stressed the fuck out. I'm sad. I don't care about anything. Like whatever thoughts are coming up for you, that's what your subconscious mind has been living on for the amount of time that you've been in your Saddie season. So motivation is not going to do it for you. And I'm going to tell you something right now that I feel like can be kind of comforting in a way, but it's not really fun to hear. And it's even less fun to put into practice, but it is really effective and helpful. And that is getting out of a Saddie season, getting yourself from Saddie to Baddie, getting back to a place where you feel incredible about yourself. The beginning portion of that, where you are starting to move a little differently, take some different action, the beginning part of that absolutely sucks. It is not fun. It does not feel good. You feel like you are forcing yourself to do literally what feels like the bare fucking minimum every day. And that's because you kind of are. You are participating in rewiring your mind during this time, which takes a lot of effort, and neuroplasticity has to occur in order for things to start to feel a little bit more second nature, feel a little bit more comfortable, and that hasn't happened because your brain has not been letting that happen because you've been stuck in your Saddie season. So when you start to move a little differently, and I'm about to tell you exactly what to do in order to move a little differently, but when you start to do those things, it's not going to be fun. It's not going to feel good, and you're probably going to hate it a little bit. So stop waiting on that sort of like magical burst of inspiration, magical burst of motivation. And instead, you're going to decide to do exactly what I'm about to tell you over and over again. Push through the discomfort, and probably within days, you are going to start feeling better. Back when I was in my Saddie season and I decided, okay, we're done with this shit. I'm not doing this anymore. I'm taking my power back. I gave myself 21 days because that's how long it takes to build a new habit. I gave myself 21 days to get the fuck out of my own way. And I built myself a plan for 21 days. And it only took me 7 to start to feel like myself again. Because deep down, that's not who I am. Deep down, I am not the person that is operating out of her power. I was just in a Saddie season because that happens because we're human and things happen. But it does not take a long time to transition out of that behavior. You just have to get through the first few days where it sucks. And here's a little affirmation for you as you transition from Saddie to Baddie. Ready? I am in control of my mind and I have the power to shift my energy. If you repeat that to yourself, you are going to start to believe it because it's true. You are going to start to believe it and you are going to start to act differently. And so here are the things that I did to go from Saddie to Baddie These were all for a purpose, and they got me feeling better so quickly that I wish everyone would do them consistently. Even though they seem like simple things, these are things that immediately get dropped when we don't feel like our best self. Immediately. They're the first things to go off the to-do list. And so these are the things that you are going to focus on for bare minimum 7 days, but ideally 21 every single day in order to feel better. The first thing that you are going to do every single day is some kind of movement. Now, I am not a fitness girly. I don't have a workout program for you. That is not this podcast. That is not this show. And that is not me. However, exercising of any kind, movement of any kind produces endorphins in your brain, which is basically the chemical that makes you feel good. And if you've seen Legally Blonde, then you know that exercise gives you endorphins, endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands, right? So we want to get the body moving a little bit, not only because it's going to improve your mood, but it's going to improve your stress levels. It's going to make you happy, and it will also give you a little bit of a sense of accomplishment as well once it's done. Not to mention from an energetic standpoint, when you have all of these emotions stored and all of this energy stored, because if you're in your Saddie season, you're probably doing a little bit more laying around than usual. I'm a big rotter when I have my Saddie season. So if that's you too, getting moving starts to get that energy flowing and get that shit out of you. The second thing that you are going to do every single day to go from Saddie to Baddie is you are going to listen to some kind of visualization, do some kind of journaling, or some kind of EFT tapping that yanks you out of the current moment and puts you into possibility-based thinking. So what that means is you are thinking about the future, you are thinking about your highest self, you are thinking about your best life. You are able to shift into a place where your thoughts are going to what's possible and going to creation, going to newness, rather than being stuck in the same old shit. The other thing this is doing for you, especially if you're journaling or doing something where you are choosing new beliefs, the other thing that's doing is it is contributing to your neuroplasticity, and it is allowing you to choose to think differently about things, which is going to interrupt all of that stagnant shit that's gotten you into this Saddie season in the first place. So your brain is going to start thinking differently about what's possible. It's going to start thinking differently about you. And over time, you are going to start to believe the truth of these new thoughts and beliefs instead of all of the nasty negative things that you've kind of been sitting in so far. The third thing you're going to do is you are going to start to nourish your body in a way that feels good to you. Again, this is not a fitness girly account. This is never going to be a fitness girly account, but the foods that you eat can contribute to your brain health and can contribute to positivity. When you are not feeling your best, it is often easy to slip into eating habits that are not the best for your body. Eating well and balanced and foods that nourish you, and again, I'm not going to tell you what those things are. I am not a health professional. Look it up, but please feed your body and feed your soul. Hydrate, make sure you're drinking enough water, because when I am in a Saddie season, I usually just eat junk food and probably drink too much emotional support Coke. You guys feel me. But please nourish your body, contribute to the health of your brain, and allow yourself to really love on your body during this time. And then the last thing you're going to do during these 21 days is you are going to be productive, because like I talked about earlier in this episode, your dopamine production relies on productivity. It relies on feeling accomplished. It relies on going, oh my God, I'm so glad I did that. So I really don't care what it is you do, but you probably know the things that you've been slipping on. If you feel like you have a major bet, if you feel like you're behind on the laundry, if you feel like you're behind on work, or you feel like you haven't been doing something to the best of your ability, those are the first things that you are going to start with. The other things that I started doing was I had things in my house that I knew I was neglecting. Like one of the first things that I did once I started feeling better was completely reorganized underneath my sink in the bathroom, because it was just a hot mess. I wanted everything to be organized a little bit better. And you guys know, as a Virgo, disorganization really irks me. So that was something that I had been neglecting. I really needed to give that some attention, and checking that off my list felt so fucking good. Not only because I had accomplished it, but it's also such a nice feeling when you open up the cabinets and everything is organized and in its place. Love that for me. So it is sort of like the gift that keeps on giving when you do those things that you've been procrastinating on. And here is the reason why all of these things are so important. Oftentimes, when we are in a Saddie season, we are choosing inaction every time. We want to be comfortable. We want to kind of be lazy, or we just don't feel the motivation to do anything. But here's what I know to be true. Every single time that you take your power back and you choose action instead of inaction, you are teaching your subconscious mind that you are successful and rewiring it for success rather than staying stuck. And ultimately, we can choose to stay stuck as long as we want. We can live our lives from victim mode. We can choose to be where we are and say there's nothing we can do, or say like, oh, I just don't know how to do this, or I just don't have any motivation. Like, we can choose those truths as long as we want to. But ultimately, that is not who you are. If it was who you were, you wouldn't be listening to this right now. Like, there's no way that you'd be stumbling upon this, and you definitely wouldn't have made it this far anyway in this episode. So please just know that that is a habit that's existing in your brain. It's not the ultimate truth. What is the ultimate truth is that you are an empowered queen who has a huge purpose here, and that purpose cannot be fulfilled from your Saddie season, on top of the fact that that is absolutely not why God put you on this earth. So take a moment, give yourself a little bit of tough love, and maybe you're getting a little bit of it from me right now too. Take that moment and go, this is enough. It's been enough. I've had enough of my Saddie season. This is not who I really am. This is not where I'm meant to be. And I owe it to myself to start living fabulously instead. So I need to take my power back and do the things that I know I'm capable of doing, even if they're hard, and show up for myself, because otherwise I am letting my dream life float away from me and I am completely living in my stuck season. And here's the other thing that I really, really I need you to know this. Your most powerful self, the most powerful queen version of you, is not coming to get you from the future. She is not marching her happy ass back here to snatch you up and help you embody her. No, you have to go to her. She is waiting for you. And if you allow time to go by, that's exactly what's going to happen. The more time that goes by, the more you are putting off embodying your highest self and ultimately getting to live her reality. So the absolute best thing you can do for yourself, and I personally believe that this is the ultimate sign of self-love, is to embrace the discomfort of getting out of your own way so that you can become the version of you that you are dreaming of. Go through the healing and the growth to get the hell out of your Saddie season. Allow your subconscious mind to shift gears. Do that work. Do that rewiring work so that you can get what you want, live the life of your dreams, be the version of you that absolutely can exist. And you are going to absolutely be mind blown at how quickly things are going to transform in your reality. So if you try these tips, and I really hope you do, feel free to hit me up on Instagram. I would love to hear from you and hear how these things worked for you, because they will. I want to hear from you. I want to hear all about it, and I want to cheer you on while you are going from Saddie to Baddie. And beyond that, if you are looking for more subconscious mindset support, and you are interested in weekly tools in order to turn into your best fucking self, then you need to join Healing House, my membership. I'm going to link that below for you. You can read all the details. It is an absolutely magical community of women who are all doing the healing work to turn into the queens of their lives. And with that, my beauties, I leave you to go take control of your life, go do the hard thing, go from Saddie to Baddie, and I promise you are going to absolutely lose your shit over how fucking amazing your life is about to get. I love you, and I cannot wait to see the magic that you bring to the world. I'll see you guys next week.